Hi Donna. Thanks for the email. So I just figured I'd send a little video response to your questions as far as the timing of my sort of transition at work, my coming out at work. I actually had to go back and look at my blog to get some of the dates and some of the order of things because I have very bad memory when it comes to dates and names as well. But to think I was once a history major, and actually got a bachelor's degree in history, but I'm terrible with dates. Go figure. But anyways, my example of the order I did things in is probably not the ideal. But I think what happened was that, I had been doing hormones for about a year when I, came to the point where I was ready to officially change my name, and I knew I was going to go down the path of transition and there was no turning back. And, obviously I figured that once that name change stuff starts going through, that affects paychecks and that affects everything else, so the work people are going to find out anyways. So that's when I met with the HR person, as I was like I had my name change documentation ready. I just hadn't filed it yet and done all the hoops that they make you go through to do that. So I approached the HR person and I let them know that was coming through, and then I processed the name change, and that took a while. It involves going to going to county clerks and getting things from judges, and it's a really pain in the ass, as you and others probably know. But then I approached the HR person and we worked out a plan. So that took about, I think, 2 to 3 months between when I talked to the HR person and when I had the sort of coming out meeting with all my coworkers. In that meantime, after I talked to the HR person, that's when I started doing laser, and obviously I didn't do any of the other changing things like banks and all that sort of stuff until after the name change stuff went through. So that's the sort of order of things as far as that. When I talked to the HR person, obviously I was still coming to work as a boy, although at that time I was pretty much, probably 75% of the time, at home, socializing and living the life as a woman. Just at work I was sort of an androgynous boy, and I continued to do that for about 3 months after the coming out meeting with all my coworkers. And I sort of transitioned slowly into things. I just started more and more dressing androgynously, and then adding pieces of clothing over time. And then, a couple months after that, I said, fuck that. These people have warning, and, people took it pretty well, and so screw it, I'm going for it. And I started coming to work full-time as a woman. And so I guess that was the sort of official time. And by the way, before I talked to the HR person, I had been, the other steps I had been doing is I had been seeing a counselor, a therapist, and, doing all the other sort of requirements that we have to do to sort of approach surgery and all the other things as far as full-time transition and all that. So I'm not sure if that answered all the questions. I can't remember all of them, but if you have more, feel free to ask, and I will do my best to go look it up on my blog. Okay? Bye. Well, hi again, Donna. One thing I realized after I stopped, the last thing is I didn't answer one of your main questions, which was sort of my motivation for coming out at work. And, mostly it was just, I'm the kind of person that once I make sort of one of these life-changing decisions, that there's nothing going to stop me. I'm going to go forward with all the steps that are necessary to realize that goal, to achieve it. So, once I had made that decision that, oh my God, I'm a transsexual and I need to go down this path, and did all the research on figuring out what the steps were, I planned it out, and I did them as soon as possible, pretty much each and every one. So that's it. That's my sort of motivation for coming out of work. I wanted to get it out there and in the open and out of the way as soon as possible, so that it wouldn't interfere and there wouldn't be any stress coming from there as far as, just going down the rest of the road of transition. All right?